Welcome back. This is the Global Goals Studio. We're talking about biodiversity with Mirza, an actress and climate change advocate. Dia, you're such a familiar face in Bollywood. I'd like to find out, is the industry, Bollywood, how aware is the industry about climate change, especially the need to be environmentally friendly? Also, how is it adjusting to COVID-19? Have film studios resumed?
Well, I'm really grateful for the fact that the younger generation of artists across the board have become better informed, better aware, and have also been using the sphere of influence that they have through social media to spread that awareness. And I definitely see a shift in understanding, which I think is very necessary because actors, film personalities do influence larger society. This pandemic has affected every one of us. There are millions of lives and that have been completely displaced, and people have lost jobs, and it's been a very difficult time for everybody in the creative business. And slowly people are beginning to go back to work, but there's a lot of trepidation, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of it's not really started yet. We haven't been able to go back to work like we were before the lockdown, but gradually people are going back to work. And we hope that, I mean, the numbers continue to rise in India, and there is a lot still to be done. And we are in some kind of a partial lockdown in many states, even now, and rightfully so. But I think this has been an important time for everyone to introspect and internalize and understand our relationship with nature, and acknowledge the fact that we are collectively experiencing the human distress that we are because of our broken relationship with nature.
Right, we all need that introspection.
Dia, you've been very vocal on the use of single-use plastics and what we can all do to change our lifestyles. You know, increasingly there are serious questions being raised about how the plastic industry has suggested that recycling somehow makes it all okay to use single-use plastics. Tell us what your advice is as the solution, both for people watching this, what they can do in their own lives, but also for governments and business leaders in terms of moving away from the plastics that are polluting the environment so much.
So there are 3 points to this answer, really. One, of course, is behavioral change, where each and every one of us can adopt lifestyle choices that, basically encourage us to refuse any form of single-use plastic. And then, of course, to refuse food and beverage that is packaged as much as possible. So to buy local, eat local, ensure at least our fruits and vegetables are not packaged in plastic. And thankfully in India, you still have local markets where you can buy fruit and vegetable off the vendor's cart. It's not packaged in plastic. The other aspect of this is extended producers' responsibility. And this is something that I've been concerned about for a very long time. And I've always wondered. In fact, I remember when I started engaging with the United Nations Environment Program, and in the first year of our Beat Plastic Pollution campaign, one of my big questions for everyone was, how is it that we've allowed multinationals and all these companies that have been packaging practically everything that we consume on a daily basis to not account for the quantum of waste that we produce through this packaging? How did we not think of that? So yes, a circular economy is essential to managing that quantum of waste, but do we really need more of it? Can we find, and there is innovation, there is technology available and accessible to us. So it's really important that the big players, the big multinationals switch. So I'll give you a good example. Amazon India recently announced that all of their packaging now, all of the shipping they would be doing of products would be single-use plastic free. So there's going to be no bubble wrap, no plastic packaging, unnecessary plastic packaging in their parcels. And they've actually started doing that. So that's a big win. We also had our Prime Minister state that by 2022, India would become single-use plastics free. And 21 states in the country have banned single-use plastic, but unfortunately the bans haven't really been implemented because there are all kinds of pressures. So it'll have to be a three-way approach where individuals will have to refuse plastic that is unnecessary, and companies and industries will have to make the switch. And the third will be stronger laws and better policy and better waste management systems. Otherwise, we will continue to experience all of this plastic entering our waterways and our soil, and polluting our air and water and land.
Well, that three-way approach sounds very recommendable. We hope it actually works out for the best. Dia, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate the conversation. You're watching Global Goals Studio.
The racial and economic disparities that have long existed in this country have only been widened by the coronavirus and amplified by the most recent acts of injustice. People around the world are coming together with greater urgency to demand action. At Bank of America, we know we all have a role to play to overcome the very real consequences of systemic racism and inequity. This includes individuals, governments, nonprofits, and the private sector. Racial equality and economic opportunity are deeply connected. That's why Bank of America has committed $1 billion over 4 years to address critical gaps in affordable housing, access to healthcare, employment and job skills, and the resources small businesses need to succeed. We can do more, and we need to do more now to further advance racial equality and economic opportunity for all.